Hello, my name is Cindy Zerlin. I am the publisher of Inside North Ranch magazine. And today's on I Want to Know, I have with us Doug Dwork, who is the global ambassador of a nonprofit that N2 has been involved with for the past 5 years. The nonprofit is called Love Justice. I heard Doug speak at one of our conferences, and I wanted to just introduce him to the community and also for my community to understand where the money is going that my sponsors give me, what percentages go to this nonprofit. So Doug, welcome. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
All right, Doug. So you did tell me briefly the two-pronged approach of Love Justice, but tell me again what exactly Love Justice does.
Sure. Yeah, we are kind of a two-pronged organization ministry. The first one, what we started out as, was a ministry to children, particularly the orphan, the abandoned, and the abused child. And that's happening today through our family homes. We have 18 homes in 3 countries. We also have a school in Nepal, K-12. So that's one side of our work. The other side is our anti-trafficking work. So we're in about 17, 18 countries now that does anti-trafficking to intercept girls and some boys from being trafficked.
Human trafficking.
Human trafficking.
Yeah, and I think that's important because when people hear that, they wince or they really don't understand the severity of this.
Yeah.
So tell me how, you did tell me briefly, but Love Justice initially started with the ministry and then it progressed, you said. So you got involved. When did you get involved?
Well, I kind of got involved right from the get-go. So there were 5 college kids that went over to Nepal and just kind of gave themselves for 6 months to do a work with street children. Never gone to Nepal before, didn't know what they were gonna do when they got there, but they got a one-way ticket for 6 months. One of those kids I helped support while he was over there. And then when he came back, he just had this burden to start a children's home in Kathmandu, Nepal. So he asked if I would help him raise money to do that. And then I did, and I don't know, maybe a couple months later, the first children went into the home and we went over and saw the children, which completely changed my life. And it wasn't just a few weeks after that I quit my job and went into this full time. So I was kind of from the get-go.
Wow. So what did you used to do before this, by the way?
I was national marketing director for a bookstore company.
Oh, cool. Okay. Well, it's beautiful to meet you, and you touched my heart. So I'm so happy that you're here. Okay, so I saw when I went on your website, Justice Ops. What is that?
We have another division within our anti-trafficking work, which we have. We help local police and we help local governments track down, arrest, and convict traffickers. So we have people that are nationals in the countries where we work that do undercover work, that do investigative work, all for the purpose of trying to locate and bring arrest and conviction to traffickers, because we feel that's the only way, or at least the main way, that these girls are going to get justice.
Okay, I'm gonna say 2 things to you, because people always say, well, why aren't you doing something in our country? I'm constantly hearing this, okay? In everything. I'm not just what you're doing, but in every aspect of a nonprofit, there's 2 camps. One that understands that we're a global community, and one that thinks that we should only take care of ours. So talk to me about your philosophy as far as going overseas, and then also are you connected in any way to what we're doing here in our country?
Sure. Our primary focus currently is overseas, and there's a couple reasons for that. One is because these college guys went over to Nepal, and that's where the whole thing kind of was birthed. 2, we found that we have 3 core values. One of our core values is to do much with little, and we found that we can impact more lives per dollar in Asia and Africa than we can anywhere else in the world. So with the limited resources that we have, we want to maximize them in number of lives that are impacted. So that's another reason. And to your comment about, the thinking that maybe we should just be doing it over here in the US, or at least have that as a part of our presence. I mean, we can agree with you on that, or the people that feel that way. We are in the process right now of starting an anti-trafficking work in Anchorage, Alaska. So we're starting that process of coming into the US. The problem is for us is having to work with the various government agencies that don't really want outside organizations doing that work. And then number two is the cost to do that kind of work in the US compared to anywhere else almost in the world.
Can you educate us, because it's a kind of important that people get in perspective, human trafficking. What are the numbers? And, honestly, if I thought about it, where does it really take place? And does that make sense, these questions to you? Like, is there like a hub, and really we're affected anyway globally because it filters through? Or give me an idea of what this looks like, this human trafficking.
Sure. There are more slaves in the world today than any other time in our history. There are over 40 million slaves around the world. There are children being trafficked every 30 seconds someplace in the world. There are between 600,000 and 800,000 individuals that are transported across international borders every year. So there is a massive issue when it comes to the numbers. In fact, the numbers are so great, sometimes it almost gets to the place where you go, are you really making a difference? And that's why we have to focus down what we do to the one individual, because every time we're impacting one life, that is a very important life that we are impacting, and it just multiplies itself as we move forward with the number of.
Yeah, I think I mentioned to you, I was crying, right, when I heard you speak, because the enormity of what you see. The enormity of the ugliness, quite frankly, no one wants to see ugly, right? We kind of know it's there and we'll donate, but the people that are on the ground seeing these children, that's devastating. I can't imagine. So all I have to say is thank you.
It is dark, and it's dangerous, and it's ugly. And my heroes are the people that are on the front lines doing this work day after day after day, and they have to immerse themselves in it. And it's really difficult to do.
Yeah, I can't imagine. So I won't even, I'll move on to ask. The other thing I wanted to say about a global community is I can't imagine it's isolated, right? Like, I can't imagine that there aren't children that are being trafficked here and being sent to the countries.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, primarily the most trafficked individuals come out of Asia and Africa.
Okay.
But if you look at it on a global scale with the numbers that are involved, it comes out to about 1 in every 200 individuals around the world are in slavery. So it's a massive issue. And the other reason we do the work where we do it primarily is because these girls that are being trafficked don't just stay in those countries or in those communities. They are in fact sold out and go around the world. So
who buys? I mean, I have to ask this because I was like, what? When I first started hearing about it, it's becoming more and more and more public, right? So, I always get careful. What do I say, or should I even be introducing this into the community? This is the reality. Who is buying? Tell me give me an idea of like how does this work?
Well, in the countries where we work, everyone buys because it's allowed. Even police will go into brothels that are illegal and buy underage girls at night, when in fact they go in during the day acting like they're trying to close down the brothels if they have underage girls. You have government officials that are involved in it. You have people at the highest levels that are involved in it everywhere in the world. So no one's immune to it. I mean, in the communities where you live, trafficking occurs. In the community where you live, trafficking occurs. Now, you may not see it because it's behind closed doors, but it's there.
What is the average age?
The average age for us has been about 15 or 16 years old, and we have intercepted little girls as old as 6 or as young as 6.
That's
So it's very, very heart wrenching when you find a little girl that's being trafficked at that age. I've got 4 daughters and 15 grandchildren, of which half are girls, and 18 great grandchildren, of which 16 are girls. And so this becomes a big issue to me because I they're so precious to me, and we're actually standing in the gap for these parents that aren't able to do it because they are so immensely poverty stricken, and they don't have any ability to protect their daughters from being trafficked. So someone's got to do this, and we feel called to do it.
There's so many places I can go with this. So let me just talk about how you started out. Like N2, I know gives money, but tell me what you guys are working with now as far as donations. Yeah. And you said something at the conference that really hit me. It was how each, but just tell me, like, because we were talking about our publications, and I go out to a community of 1,500 people, and you said my dollars go where. So talk to me about what you have right now.
For every $25,000 that an N2 person sells in revenue, prevents 1 life from being trafficked. That's what the numbers come down to. And you know, our involvement with N2, I mean, N2 has been our primary partner for 5 years. And if you allow me to just tell a story.
Please. I mean, this is, yeah.
How we got involved with N2, because it's an amazing story to me. I was at a board meeting presenting our budget 5 years ago. And it was the only year in the history of our organization where we weren't meeting budget. And we were in the process of talking about how some major cuts that were going to have to occur because of our numbers. Right in the middle of that budget presentation, my phone rings. And I'm thinking, oh crap, you know, I should have turned it off before I start talking. So I just pulled it out of my pocket and said to the board, I said, I'm sorry, but I got to take this call, because it was from Dwayne. And I said, can we just hold on for about 15 minutes and I'll come back? And they said, sure, that's fine. So I got in the hall on a conversation with Dwayne.
Who's Dwayne? Talk to me who Dwayne is.
Yeah, Dwayne Hickson, who's the co-owner of N2.
Okay.
So he's calling me from his car with his wife coming back from his daughter's soccer game. And he said, Doug, how much money have we given you this year? And I go, Dwayne, I have no idea, because I don't keep track of what donors give. I know you give, and I know you're one of our major givers personally, but I don't know how much you give. He says, well, just estimate. What do you think? 50, 100,000? I said, yeah, but I had no idea. I said, yeah, that sounds reasonable. And he goes, okay. And then it goes dead quiet. And I'm waiting, and all of a sudden he goes, hey, listen, we want to give you $1 million. And I went, shut up. And I said that to him because I thought he was just spoofing me. At that point, he gave us $1 million. I went back into our board meeting and said, before we go any further with this, let me tell you what just happened. And with that $1 million, we were able to not only meet budget, of course, but with that money, we have been able to expand into Africa. And I think we are now into 12 countries into Africa as a result of the giving that N2 does. So that is a significant portion of the money and the revenue we raise. It doesn't pay for our whole organization's work, but it sure has allowed us to continue to expand and grow our operation in Africa.
Okay, and by the way, I did not know that. So thank you for sharing that, because again, when I had you on here more micro, right? Like I didn't really, I've been with N2 probably just a little over a year. And so I'm just getting my feet wet as far as expanding my publication and my community, but making a difference is one of the biggest and my favorite section of my publication, making a difference. So thank you for that, for sharing that.
Just so you know, N2 is an organization that has committed itself to giving 2% of their sales, not their profit, but their sales, to fight human trafficking around the world. We're not the only organization, ministry, that receives that kind of money from N2 Publishing. We are one of probably I don't know what they support now, somewhere between 12 and 18 different organizations that are fighting human trafficking. Some do preventative, some do intervention like we do, some do rescues. So they cover a broad spectrum of organizations that are doing this work.
We.
We.
And I belong to that organization. And so now I know that as I'm working with my sponsors, I want my sponsors to know where their money is going.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me what your forecasting is and what you want the budget to be moving forward, and then we'll talk about how to donate. But talk to me about where you are and where you want to be as far as donations.
Sure. Our current annual budget is probably $4.5 million. That covers all of our costs that are involved with our 18 family homes, our school, and then our anti-trafficking budget that covers about 17 countries. Our goal is by 2023 to be in, I think, 25 countries with our anti-trafficking work. We have identified probably another 4 or 5 already. We've done all the preliminary work. We've researched, we've gone out, we've found partners in those countries that will come alongside and help us do that work. So that our goal is to get to that place. And we're not so dead set on how many countries. We're dead set on how can we reach the most people with the work that we do, and how many lives can we impact where we work. So like I said, our 3 core values, everything we do run through those 3 core values. And one of our other core values is helping those who need it the most. We go out and find those that need us the most, and that's where we focus our efforts.
The nonprofits are an interesting word for me, because a lot of people think, well, there's a lot of perceptions of nonprofits. Is there always a percentage that goes to the bottom line? Or obviously there's operating costs, and this is what you told me, but would you say there's a large percentage that actually goes into actually doing the work? You have to live, right, Doug?
Yeah, we pay some salaries, but the one thing about Love Justice that I absolutely love is that we don't have an office. We don't buy office furniture. We don't have expense accounts. We don't have all the perks that go with some big organization. We operate out of our homes. We pay for our own phones. We pay for our own internet. And we save money because we want as much money as possible to go to programs.
I got to tell you something that really bothered me. And it was, I was watching, I don't know, it was some other nonprofit. There was a CEO. She was a woman. She makes way less than a lot of the other nonprofits, but they were attacking her, saying, well, you're a nonprofit, you shouldn't. And my thing is this: nonprofits, your whole goal is to help the community, but you also have to operate, right? Like there are costs to operating these nonprofits. So that always gets me when I hear that. I wish we had for-profit or a different structure for nonprofits where it was more profitable in the sense for the people that are not suffering. You have to eat, you have to live, you have to move, you have to go around the world and do what you have to do. You have a family, right? So I'm very passionate about that also. I don't like that, you're a nonprofit, you shouldn't make money. Well, you have to, and you're doing a beautiful thing. And because of you're saving lives, little girls.
I appreciate that. Most people don't understand that. We can't do this work in a vacuum. We got to hire the best people.
That's right.
Train, we've got to support. We're supporting, I want to say, over 250 nationals in the different countries where we work, paying their salaries to do the work. We're paying the salaries of people in the U.S. that are administrating all of the work that goes on around the world. That does not happen by chance. And you don't just put anyone in those positions. You have to find people that can do and operate within the context of our core values, which is very, very important to us.
Well, listen, I appreciate you coming on today. You see how I got upset.
I love that passion.
Very passionate about making a difference in the world. That is wherever it is, every little thing. And the other thing too that gets me is a lot of people who do not understand, unless they're personally affected, what the impact to a child.
That's right.
A child. All right. So Love Justice, give me your website and give me a way that if anyone is listening, if they wanted to donate personally, tell me, can anybody donate?
Sure. Our website's just www.lovejustice.n as in Nancy, GO, non-government organization is what that stands for. And you can go on there and there's donate tabs. You can go right there and you can do a one-time gift if you want. You can set it up. We have what we call a giving community, which is called Project Beautiful, because every life is worth fighting for. And you can set up an automatic monthly payment as well. Can be in any amount. I think they say it starts at $10. But with that, you get reports, you get stories from the field. We just sent out t-shirts and masks to all the people that are on that Project Beautiful. I think there are 900 around the country or the world. So there are ways you can give either one time or you can give on an automatic reoccurring basis, of which we love just because it helps us budget better and helps us grow better. So yeah, you can do it that way.
All right. Is there any particular, anything else you want to add or share with the community?
No, I love the fact that you're doing something within the context of community, because that's how we operate too. I mean, the different places where we work, it's in the context of a community, these little villages, and we empower the local people to do the work within those villages. So when I see like I love that they have these little communities that are all over the country that are be able to be a part of something bigger. And that's what we try to tell people, we can't focus so close to where we live. We have to see the bigger picture. This is going around the world. What we do overseas impacts where we live. And so to have you guys be a part of that, I love.
Yeah, but again, we are connected. And I think as we understand that collectively, this affects everybody. It could be your daughter. It could be your daughter. And, we haven't even talked about boys. Okay. No. So I'm sure you see that too. So,
well, I think something like 20% are boys that are being trafficked for labor and sex in some cases. And so it's like I said, it's ugly and it's prevalent everywhere.
All right. Well, listen, I wanted to thank you so much again, Doug Dwork.
Yes.
With Loves Justice. And can you again also give me your phone number?
My phone number is 402-440-4275. I live in Lincoln, Nebraska, and we got 14 inches of snow. So it's a lovely place if you want to
You wanted to plug Nebraska. No, can people call you directly, or do you want me to cut this out? Because I can't.
If they have questions, please call directly. I love to talk to people about the ministry and the work. So yeah.
All right. Well, listen, thank you so much for coming on today. And thank you all for listening to another episode of I Want to Know. And I look forward to speaking with you all very soon. I will put Doug's information below as well as the website. And again, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much.